My name is Josh Cornwood, and this is my sugiuot final project. Throughout this presentation, I will be giving sources about the overall theme of honesty, and I will try to split it up and give you guys a fair view. In this, however, introduction, I want to just give my opinion of the matter. I believe that honesty is sometimes needed and sometimes not required. So what do I mean by that is, let's say you go to someone's house at a barbecue. This actually happened to me. I'm not going to say any names. And someone makes chicken. It's kind of burnt, but they're very self-conscious about their chicken, and they think it's the best chicken. And they ask you, how's the chicken? You're not going to say it's burnt, it's terrible. Rather, you're going to lie and say it's delicious, great job. This is already an example of when honesty is not needed. This is my personal opinion. However, presentation is not about my personal opinion, so we will move on. Okay, so the first source and the first topic is honesty, even when it's easier not to. So in this topic, I'm going to speak about the importance of honesty in one's life. Without honesty, one cannot be trusted. One cannot be one cannot live his life to the fullest. Okay, now I will bring in my first source. Just give you a little background on the source before I give you it. This source is about Yaakov and Lavan. This is how it will speak about Lavan kept tricking Yaakov into working for more years without giving him his daughter to marry. And Yaakov could have stole the cattle. He could have cooked and ate the cattle. He could have done whatever he wanted with the cattle, but he didn't. That is one, and this is an example the Torah gives us about honesty. And now I will read you the source. 1 second, okay. Parshat Vayetze, 31, Parak 31, Pesukim 38 through 44. So right over here, Lamed Chet. זה 20 שנה אנחנו עמך רחליך ועזיך לא שקלו ואל שונאיך לא אכלת. And that pasuk translates to already 20 years I've been with you, and your ewes and she-goats have not aborted, neither have I eaten the rams of your flock. This pasuk is saying that I've been with you so many years, and as you can see, I've been perfect to you. I've never killed any of your animals, your goats. I've treated them like my own. Lamed Tet, Tarfa lo havati alecha anachnu achatna miado tishkena yuvanti yom ugvena laila. So this is Lamed Tet. I have not brought home to you anything torn by their animals. I would suffer its loss. From my hand, you would demand it. What was stolen by day, what was stolen at night. So this passage is saying that if I did lose something, or if there was a loss, I would take it from my own payment. Yaakov would take it from his own payments, just showing the dedication of Yaakov and the importance of honesty. Now we have pasuk mem over here. Hayiti biyom achalni charav v'karva b'layla v'toda shnatei me'ene. So this is mem. I was in the field by day when the heat consumed me, and the frost at night, and my sleep wandered from my eyes. So this is saying that even when it was the hottest in the day, even when he was tired, even when it was freezing at night, he still stayed in the field and still watched all his animals. So from this pasuk, we can learn that the truth, one needs to have the importance, that one needs to be truthful, and one has to understand the importance of honesty. Yaakov could have easily stolen Lavan's animals and sold them for a great profit. He had lots of animals. Or he could have killed them and eaten them. Either way. Instead, he keeps them safe for years and years and years, though Lavan is distrustful and deceitful to it, deceives him. So this right here, this first source, is a perfect example of the importance of emet, truth. Yaakov, really, he goes beyond what you have to do for truth. For years and years, he's being deceived, and he still tells the truth. He's still honest. This source is the perfect example of being honest and why Hashem wants you to be truthful. Okay. Our next source. Okay. So this next source and section will speak about honesty one needs in his life to have a fulfilling life. Is one allowed to lie? We kind of spoke about that last time, but we're going to even go a little further in that this time. Okay. So now the second source is from Babylonian Talmud, Pirkei Avot, Parak 1, Pasuk 18. So as I was saying, that in Babylonian Talmud, Pirkei Avot 18, it says, read the Hebrew first. Rabbi Shimon Gamliel Omer, El Shosha Dvarim Ha'olam Omed, Al Hadin, Ve'al Ha'emet, Ve'al Ha'shalom. Shneimar, Emet, Umishpat, Shalom, Shivtechu B'Shomrim. Okay, so what does this mean? Rabbi Shimon, the son of Gamliel, would say, by three things is the world sustained: law, truth, and peace. As it is stated in Zechariah 8:16, truth and judgment of peace you should administer at your city gates. So this right here is another example, similar to the last source, the importance of honesty and truth. Here it takes a really strong view in Pirkei Avot, and it really states that there's no circumstance when you're allowed to lie. I said earlier in the beginning of the presentation, my personal opinion, that there is some circumstances where one could lie. However, in this source right here, it really shows us that there's no leeway. One cannot lie. You know, if you want to have a society, Rabbi Shimon Gamliel says that the world endures on three things: justice, truth, and peace. It's difficult to imagine a society surviving for long if no one cares about honesty. Are there situations where one is permitted to lie? This is the question that philosophers, theologians, and religious leaders have been wanting for so long. My personal opinion is yes. However, Rabbi Shimon Gamliel takes a very strong opinion, and he says no. So this second source is another source talking about that one is not allowed to lie under no circumstances, similar to the last source. So now we're going to move on to our third source. Okay, this is in Psalms Parak 5, Psukim 6 through 7. And the topic of this category is under the significance of honesty, why one is permitted to lie. So you can already tell by the title of this category that it's going to be much different from the past two, and more similar to my personal opinion, that there is circumstances where one is able to lie. So we're going to kind of dive in this. So let me just start reading right here. Okay. So ki lo el chafas resha ata lo yirgecha ra. For thou art no a God that hath pleasures in wickedness. Evil shall not sojourn with thee. So this one here says that no evil. So that's kind of just first pasuk. Next pasuk, pasuk vav, verse 6. Lo yitzavu holalim lenaged inecha shnaat kol pa'alu even. The boasters shall not stand in thy sight, though hadst all workers of iniquity. Okay, and then we're going to kind of move down a little to pasuk Yud Zayin, which is a little more important here. Vatiren hamiyaladot et ha-Elohim v'lo asav kasher diber elehen melech Mitzrayim v'tachen et ha-Yeladim. Okay, so this is a very important pasuk. Translates to, but the midwives feared God and did not, as the king of Egypt commanded them, but saved the men, children alike. So, if you recall, a situation where Paro, this is in Exodus, demanded, this is, we moved on to Exodus, forgot to say, this is where Paro demanded that all men, children be killed, thrown in the river. However, the midwives lied to Paro and saved all the men, children. So right over here is a very, very important example of when lying is permitted. So this instance in the Torah shows us that they lied. They honestly flat out lied. And Hashem did not punish them for that. In fact, he was very thankful for their actions, which shows you that in some circumstances lying is allowed. Let's move on to the next pasuk here. Yochet 18. And the king Vayikra Melech Mitzrayim Lim Ledot Vayamar Lahen Madura Ishtav Hadaber Hazeh V'Tachin Et Yeladim. The king of Egypt called for the midwives and said to them, "Why have ye done this and have saved the men children alive?" They responded in Yud and Vatiremna Hamiladot El Paro Kilo Kanashim Hamitzrayit Hayevrit Ki Chayot Haneh V'Terem Tavo Alehem Hamiladot V'Yaldav. And the midwives said to Paro, because the Hebrew women are not as the Egyptian women, for they are lively and delivered air, the midwives come unto them. So they're explaining why they did it. Kaf Vayitav Elohim Limdot Vayirav Ha'am V'Yisamo Me'ot. And God dealt well with the midwives, and the people multiplied and waxed very mightily. So right over here, one more pasuk we'll say, Kafalaf Vayhi Ki Yeru Hamiladot Et Elohim V'Ya'as Lahem Batim, and it came to pass because the wives feared God that He made them houses. So right over here, God is rewarding the midwives for lying. Now that sounds crazy. We just heard in the past two sources that lying is prohibited. However, over here, He rewards someone for lying. So why is this? Why does the Torah do this? It's almost not intuitive, and it's confusing, honestly, for someone who doesn't know well. However, I will try to explain this. That, just like my personal opinion said, God almost in this source makes it seem like He's permitting lying in some circumstances. This was obviously a dramatic circumstance where they saved children. However, God permitted it. So right over here, you see God permitted lying. Very controversial. However, this blatant right over here that it's right there. So it's very interesting, and one can understand that in some cases it is allowed. Yeah. So moving on. This next source, we are going into number 4. The Torah's strict view on honesty and the sin of lying. Okay, so this one we're going back to the first two sources with the strict view of the Torah and how lying is not permitted under any circumstance. Continuing on, so this is number 4. And I kind of said this pasuk in number 3, but I really didn't exaggerate it enough. So this is going to be the 4th source. There's the 3rd one too. So this one is the significance of honesty. No, this one is, the Torah's strict view on honesty and why there's a sin of lying. It says, "For thou art not kilo el chavetz rasha ata lo yirgu. For thou art not God that hath pleasures in wickedness, evil shall not sojourn with thee." Pasuk Vav, Lo yitzbasu halulim leneged enecha shenaat kol palu evet. The boasters shall not stand in thy sight, thou balest all workers of iniquity. So this two psukim shows that God will not give pleasure in wickedness. However, as we just read before, God gave the midwives houses when they lied to power up. So right over here, we're in a kind of circumstance where, at least I am, very confused. You know, God says there's no lying right over here in Pasuk Hey and Vav in Psalms, Barak 1, and then in Exodus he says He rewards someone for lying. So what is this? What is this? I mean, it really doesn't make sense. So one can look a little further and say that you cannot lie out of you cannot lie out of personal benefit, but like the midwives did, they lied to save the Jewish people, and therefore Hashem will allow it under that certain circumstance. So one can understand that lying is never permitted by God. However, God will permit someone if they do it for a greater cause, for example, to save the Jewish people. Okay, the last source, number 5. Alright, this one is going to go under, again, the Torah's view on lying and why it is never allowed under any circumstances. Exodus 23, Parak 23, 7. Say, from a false matter, and the innocent and righteous stay, though not, for I will not justify the wicked. In Hebrew, Medaber sheker tirachak minaki v'sadik el teharo kilo etzkeda rasha, pasuk chet, and thou shalt take no gift, for a gift blindeth them, and have sight and pervert their words for the religious. V'shachad lo tikach ki hased yorad pekim v'yaslef dvarei sadakim. So this is and it says, distance yourself from false matter. So right here it says, keep the in pasuk 7, keep you far away from false matter. Do not take gifts in pasuk 8. So this over here is saying that if you take gifts, your sight will be blinded and you will not be able to see the truth. However, like we saw before in the case in Exodus, when before in Exodus, in the same parsha, it says that Hashem gave the midwives houses because they lied. And it seems like the most ridiculous thing. In the same parsha, he says first, you cannot lie. And then over here, and then before, he says you can lie. So what does Hashem really mean? Because I don't know about you, but it's confusing to me. So what they would, if you look a little further, you can understand that Hashem says you cannot take gifts because you will be blinded. However, if you do this for not your own benefit, but for the benefit of a greater cause, like I said before, the Jewish people, then it's okay, and therefore you're doing it not for yourself, but for the Jewish people. Okay. In conclusion, it will now summarize all 5 parts given in my opinion and the closing statement. Okay, so the first source we saw that honesty is needed with Yaakov and with Lavan. Even when it's easier not to, you still have to be honest no matter what. Okay, that's what the first source says. The second source, honesty one needs in his life to have a fulfilling life is one allowed to lie. This was the Pirkei Avot. This is Pirkei Avot, Parak 1, Pasuk 18, where it speaks about a society without honesty is not a society at all. The society will not be able to function without having truth and honesty. This speaks about that for Rabbi Gamliel says, Rabbi Shimon Gamliel says that honesty is needed no matter what. So these 2 sources over here were very strict, saying honesty is needed. The next source, number 3, is also very strict, and it says the significance of honesty, why one is not permitted to lie. Okay, in this source over here, we read about Psalms, this one, Exodus, Parak Aleph, Psukim 19 through 21, which speak about that. So continuing on, the source number 3 is actually why one is allowed to lie, and it gives the source of the midwives in Exodus, as we said before, and how they lied to save the Jewish people, which we said was allowed. Okay, and the fourth is the Torah's strict. The fourth is in Psalms, and we spoke about how why one is not permitted to lie, and it says it's very strict in what it says, because it says thou shall not seek pleasure and wickedness in the Hevav in Psalms, and then it says that it really says that the boasters shall not stand in thy sight. Lo yutrasu halalim leneged enecha. So it really is strict on that one. And then the last source we read was in Exodus Parak 23, Pasuk 7, where it says, keep thee away from false matter. Basically, thou shalt not bear false witness kind of thing, like in Exodus 20, but the same kind of thing in 23. and it talks about that you have to be truthful no matter what, and not only should you be truthful, but you should stay away from lying. Okay, so my opinion in the end is very similar to the first, even after seeing these sources. I say that almost always you're not allowed to lie. However, in some certain circumstances, when it's to save the Jewish people or it's to not embarrass someone, one is allowed to lie. So this is my sugiuot final, and I thank you for watching.